Welcome everybody to the regular meeting of June 22nd, 2026. Bienvenue tout le monde à la rencontre du Conseil régulier du 22 juin 2026. Madame Roy, peux-tu ouvrir, s'il vous plaît?
Oui, alors je confirme que tous les membres du Conseil sont présents. Nous avons quorum. Est-ce qu'il y a des additions ou modifications à apporter à l'ordre du jour ce soir?
Aucune de notée.
Parfait. Alors, pour l'adoption de l'ordre du jour, qu'il soit résolu que l'ordre du jour soit accepté, incluant les modifications apportées séance tenante le cas échéant, proposées par...
Monsieur Fogg, Monsieur Mainville, tous d'accord? Cadauque? Est-ce qu'il y a des intérêts pécuniaires à déclarer?
I believe it's going to be 18.3.
Okay.
So I'll recluse myself. Thank you.
Alrighty.
OK. C'est
Noted.
noté.
OK. Maintenant, on est rendu à 5. Donc, on a des minutes à adopter du 27 avril, mai, le 11 mai, le 25 mai. Est-ce que vous avez eu la chance de regarder à ça? Oui. Est-ce qu'on peut les adopter? OK.
Qu'il soit résolu que le Conseil approuve les procès-verbaux des réunions suivantes telles que présentées. Alors, la réunion ordinaire tenue le 27 avril, 11 mai et 25 mai. Proposée par...
Monsieur Mainville, Monsieur Boisvenu, tous d'accord? Cadauque? We are now at 7, the consent items. Is there anything that we need to remove to have a discussion?
Not 100% sure if we need to remove it and have a full discussion, but I know that 7.4 has been a little bit of a touchy subject online and had people talking. So if our CAO or if somebody can just give us the Coles notes so our residents are able to better understand, it would be greatly appreciated. And my apologies on this. I meant to...
No, not a problem, Councillor Boisvenu. I'll pass it to the expert, Madame Lagreffe.
I went down a rabbit hole
Uh-oh.
on this thing. I'm kidding.
So have I. That's why I just figure if we can keep
So
it
I'll
at the
just-
surface.
We don't like
I'll-
terms like that here.
So I'll just make sure my mic is on. I'll just go overview on how it affects us as a municipality. So essentially there's il y a deux volets. So the first one is changes to FIPA that it's going to affect us. The major impact will be the privacy assessment evaluations that we're going to have to perform. So every time that we collect information, whether via a form, body cams or dash cams, like applications, or surveys, contests, every time we take information into our systems, we're going to have to do a privacy impact assessment. So if something were to happen, if there was a privacy breach, and that assessment is pretty complete, I guess is a word. So we need to state the purpose of the collection, the use, and the disclosing, if any, the legal authority under which we will collect, the specific types and sources of the information, intended use, disclosure, positions or roles that have access to it, any limitations or restrictions on collection, the applicable retention periods, administrative, technical, and physical safeguards to protect that information, and the risk to individuals in the event of loss, theft, or unauthorized use or disclosure, and the measures that are going to be implemented. So I'm starting to speak with legal solicitors and my colleagues in other municipalities and at the county level to see how we can kind of centralize this work as much as possible, and then le peaufiner and make it adapted to our needs according to the softwares that we use. So this is a very big project that's going to impact every department that collects information, so we'll work on it in order to be compliant by the deadline, which is January 1st. On the other end, what's going into effect as of July 1st, so just in a few days, is the impacts to FIPA and how we manage information requests. So right now we have 30 calendar days, which is not very long considering all the work and energy that goes into it. It is increased now to 45 business days, so that is good. It gives us a little bit more time. It also implements certain frameworks to have phased-in approaches for big FOI requests. So say they're asking for a very, very large request, then I can suggest under limited circumstances that it's going to be phased in. So that helps in certain circumstances. And the last one is a second chance to do a second extension of time. So say if it's really, really big and I don't have the time or I don't have the resources, then I can ask for 2 extensions. Again, they're very limited in the times that they allow that, but it does give us some flexibility. Those are the Coles notes. of the changes coming. Thank you.
Thank you. It's just, I did work in that on the federal side before, so I know that I had some colleagues that talked to me a bit about it, so that's why I just, Cole's notes, perfect, thank you.
Perfect. And Mr. DeHoop?
I just want to add, this will take additional human resources. Like, this is a lot of work. Administrative level, like the clerk's department will need assistance with this because the province and the federal government have a tendency to put laws into place, but they don't consider the impact, especially on smaller municipalities. But, you know, we will have that work to do as per legislation, so we won't have a choice. So just to give you a heads up on that one.
So for implementation, I'm going to work on a plan, work with my colleagues and try to collaborate where we can, and then I'll come to council and say if it's doable or not, and then reprioritization of projects that are ongoing. If we want to be compliant by January 1st, I might have to rearrange certain projects to make it work, or I'm not sure. I'll have to do the plan first and see how that goes, because it will impact everybody, ultimately.
But
any other questions?
Rest assured, we're not going to delay the election. So that's still going ahead.
That's
So
not a priority, I can move.
Aw. Mr. Stewart?
So, like, this sounds like a, you know, obviously this is a huge task for you, and I know you're already pretty overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Is it realistic that this is done by January 1st?
I don't know yet. I see it as a big mountain, but I'm in my head a lot and I'm reading a lot about it. I think what I want to do is do at least a plan, and I'll have an idea of, like, best case scenario. If I had all the resources, financial or human, in the world, what needs to be done by January 1st, and then I'll be able to see if that's even realistic. I can come back with a report later when I have that information. If we collaborate with the other municipalities, it's surely going to help with the task. At least having standardized templates across the counties, that would be helpful. Like that, if for people who work, like for the fire department who have more than one municipality, at least they have one template to follow for the plan. But it's the risk assessment that is scarier. I'm not sure how qualified we are, so we might have to go to get consultant support on that. But we will be working with the IT department as well to figure out what is in place, if that's enough for the privacy and like protection piece. Our IT department is pretty strict, they're pretty good, but it's just to have that on paper so that we could show the IPC, the Information Privacy Commissioner, that, you know, we have stuff in place to protect the information that we have.
Should we be asking the province here, passing a resolution, asking the province for an extension on that? Is
We
that
can
something
ask.
that we should start? Do the counties, other townships, municipalities support that? I don't know. If we can't be alone in
We
this.
can
I'm
bring
sure
it for
everybody's.
August 31st if you guys like to consider. It's something we can discuss internally as well.
yeah, when Madame Roy brings her report, that could be one of the options in the report, is a resolution asking council.
For an extension.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we'll just adopt the consent
Yes,
items
so we
now.
can do the consent items. Qu'il soit résolu que tous les items énumérés sous 7 items par consentement soient reçus et approuvés tels que présentés. Proposé par?
Madame Drolet, Monsieur Fogg, tous d'accord? OK. Maintenant, on s'en va à rapport 8.1. Monsieur Pigeon.
Oui, bonsoir.
Nothing but good news for us, right?
Oui, exact. Comme vous le savez, avec les projets de Clarence-Rockland, nous sommes présentement dans la phase 2. Donc, ça englobe 4 projets. Donc, les 2 premiers projets, c'est des Transmission Water Main qui sont maintenant en construction, puis ils vont être complétés cet automne. Le 3e projet, vraiment, c'est ce que je veux vous parler ce soir, c'est l'expansion de la booster sur la rue Caron. Donc, c'est une station de booster qui est vraiment une nouvelle station qu'on va faire pour pousser de l'eau jusqu'à Limoges. Puis le 4e projet qu'on touche vraiment vaguement, c'est l'expansion du plan d'eau sur le bord de Clarence-Rockland. Donc, design-wise, pour la Caron Booster, il est terminé à 100%. Puis, on a estimé que c'est environ 15 millions que ça va coûter pour faire cette expansion-là. Le pourcentage alloué à la nation, c'est 62,4, donc autour de 9,3 millions que ça va nous coûter. Suite à la construction de la Caron Booster, ça va nous donner une allocation d'environ 1685 mètres cubes total provenant de Rockland. ça reste très important à souligner, par exemple, que la phase 2, c'est vraiment les 4 projets ensemble. Donc, si on ne va pas de l'avant avec le projet numéro 4, qui est l'expansion du plan d'eau, notre chiffre qu'on vient d'être alloué pour la Caron Booster va diminuer avec la growth de Rockland. C'est seulement quand les 4 projets de phase 2 sont terminés qu'on a le plein montant locké minimum pour le restant du temps. Juste faire une petite parenthèse aussi, le plan d'eau va être autour de 85 millions, puis notre portion, c'est 30 %. Donc, autour de 25 millions. Fait que c'est quand même des gros projets à venir. Par contre, aujourd'hui, je veux vraiment plus toucher à la Caron Booster parce que c'est ça ma recommandation, d'aller de l'avant avec ce projet-là pour ne pas arrêter la growth, puis continuer avec le résidentiel, commercial, ainsi de suite. Donc, je ne sais pas si vous avez des questions, commentaires face au rapport.
Bien, nous autres, écoute, on le savait, ça fait déjà un bout de temps qu'on sait que c'est des phases qui s'en viennent. Maintenant, on commence à voir les réalités financières qui sont en arrière de ces phases-là. Puis, on est, comment je peux dire ça, on est commis à ça. Là. On ne peut pas arrêter là. Parce qu'on a bien des développeurs, puis des résidents, puis toutes ces choses-là qui font partie du plan, qu'on va de l'avant. Fait que, d'après moi, faut continuer à foncer, puis on espère que le marché reste positif comme qu'il est aujourd'hui, puis qu'on continue à construire parce que c'est des gros chiffres. Puis j'aime aussi beaucoup dans ton rapport où tu dis que vous continuez à appliquer pour des octrois des autres niveaux gouvernemental parce que les autres aussi, ils veulent toutes ces choses-là, mais ils doivent nous aider à les payer parce que des petites municipalités comme nous autres, là, c'est très cher. Hein?
Je pourrais rajouter là-dessus, il y a un grant qui est sorti le 16 juin, puis qu'on a appliqué, le Build Community Strong Fund. C'est un grant qu'on a appliqué pour les 2 derniers projets de la phase.
OK. Perfect. Any questions or comments? Again, it's big numbers, guys, and I'm aware of it, and I'm sure Nadia's not here tonight, but I'm sure she's nervous as well. But that's what it is, growth. You gotta stick out your neck a little bit at times, and then when that growth comes in, then we all reap the benefits of it.
So you make mention in your report of the potential participation by the Village of Casman in future regional infrastructure projects. So could that affect our final number, and could that affect our final unit amount as well?
So, yes, that could affect our percentage-wise. If they decide to come in, our percentage would drop significantly, so it would cost less for us. But eventually, the units allocated are followed by our master plan. So we allocated 150 units per year. That's going to stay for next 40 years. Like it won't affect the units.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's not going to slow down growth, in other words.
That's
exactly. It's a great question.
Just what I wanted to put
Yep.
out there. Thank you.
Okay.
Merci.
Is there any other questions or comments? On est correct? OK, super. Merci. OK. Do we have to adopt this? Or?
Yes. Qu'il soit résolu que le Conseil reçoive le présent rapport et approuve l'avancement du projet numéro 3, modernisation de la station de suppression de Caron, et qu'il autorise l'administration à entreprendre le processus d'appel d'offres en partenariat avec la Cité de Clarence Rockland. Proposé par?
Monsieur Boisvenu, Madame Drolet, everybody's in agreement? Okay, perfect. It's adopted. Now, 8.2, Monsieur Lafrance.
Bonsoir, good evening. Sans trop aller en détail là, de mon rapport au complet, j'aimerais toucher sur quelques détails là, quand même assez importants dans mon rapport. Donc, dans l'option 1, c'est mes recommandations avec les comparatifs présentés dans le Financial Consideration ou ce que les prix du complet sportif, les user fees, c'est ma recommandation, juste en comparatif. Si le conseil aimerait avoir leur propre prix ou en discuter, c'est dans l'option 2, on peut certainement en jaser. J'aimerais parler de l'option 4, de réduire les opérations, surtout pendant les mois d'été, avec l'air climatisé qui il n'y a pas d'option à la climatiser. On peut un peu se servir du modèle de l'Arena ou du Dôme à Glengarry, où ce qui ferme pendant l'été. Donc, on pourrait fermer la piste de marche, puis sauver ce côté-là, pour oublier de rentrer les employés. Le nombre de personnes qui marchent est bas. Si vous allez au complexe, le monde, il préfère marcher à l'extérieur. Donc, ils stationnent leurs autos. Ils marchent autour du complexe, dans l'espace vert ou dans le stationnement, au lieu d'aller à l'intérieur. Puis, s'il fait 30 degrés dehors, il fait 38 à l'intérieur. Donc, c'est juste savoir que pour eux, ils utilisent l'espace vert. Mais, si, par exemple, si on a des locations, bien, on va avoir des employés sur place quand même parce qu'il faut débarrer les portes. On ne va pas dire non à des réservations, mais fermer les heures d'ouverture, puis pas offrir de programmation si les gens préfèrent jouer à l'extérieur, ou si un, c'est gratuit, et deux, il fait plus beau. Ce serait une option que j'aimerais suggérer ou recommander au Conseil. Donc, ceci, ça serait d'ouvrir la semaine de 7h à 3h. On a des commis qui doivent rentrer quand même pour les réservations, puis un adjoint administratif qui doit rentrer faire ses heures quand même. Donc, on ouvrirait plus tôt le matin. Ça, c'est plus frais à l'extérieur. Puis, une fois que son shift de son travail est fini vers 3h, on pourrait fermer la marche, mais pas ouvrir la piste de marche la fin de semaine. Je recommanderais de la fermer complètement. On ouvrirait seulement s'il y aurait des réservations. Puis, si quelqu'un loue la salle, mais il y aurait un technicien qui serait sur place, ou la même chose pour le terrain de soccer.
OK. Questions, commentaires concernant
Oui,
le...
question aussi. Présentement, quand Kawabunga sont là, la piste est quand même ouverte aux résidents pour marcher présentement, right?
Non.
Non. Fait que dans le
Puisque
fond...
c'est juste Kawabunga, on n'a pas d'employé municipal sur place, la piste n'est pas ouverte. C'est seulement Kawabunga qui a accès, puis il rentre par la salle GFL. Donc, les portes sont barrées. On ne demande pas aux résidents, on n'a pas de contrôle de savoir si les personnes, c'est un risque d'avoir d'autres personnes.
Fait que présentement, c'est déjà pas vraiment ouvert durant les jours de semaine?
On est 8 à 8. On est ouvert de 8h à 8h en ce moment.
OK, non, ma question, c'est si présentement, comme quand Kawabunga sont là, présentement, là, comme l'été passé, disons, on avait quand même un employé qui est là, fait que les gens peuvent aller quand même marcher, c'est
désolé,
ça?
oui, je croyais que tu avais dit à 6h le matin, mais on ouvre seulement à 8h. Donc, c'est de 8 à 8 en ce moment, la semaine, et de 9 à 6h la fin de semaine.
OK.
Oui, je pense que la suggestion, c'est de réduire les heures d'opération.
Puis vous n'avez pas vraiment les statistiques, combien de personnes, parce que maintenant c'est gratuit, fait qu'on n'a plus les cartes de membres, on n'a plus, fait que c'est dur à dire combien de gens
Je pense
viennent,
que les statistiques, peut-être qu'on ne les a pas exactes, mais les high tests, c'est pas abusé.
On a nos résidents habituels à 7h30, 8h le matin, donc la semaine, mais la fin de semaine, c'est extrêmement rare.
Oui, absolument, les gens sont occupés, ouais.
Oui, donc à ce moment-là, les résidents doivent juste s'ajuster à autant qu'on va être ouvert là-dessus. Parce que je pense que ça va être un bon compromis dans le sens qu'on réduit nos coûts d'opération là, à ce moment-là.
Puis on ouvre plutôt la semaine, donc pour permettre, quand il fait plus frais à l'extérieur, espérant l'heure de plus qu'on est ouvert, de plus de personnes qui vont venir.
Oui, puis encore là, c'est avec des observations avec le temps. Si on réalise que c'est pas utilisé à ce moment-là, je pense que peut-être on peut peut-être revenir ici, faire des décisions plus avancées. Là. Croc.
Est-ce que vous voulez une
Yeah.
résolution?
Just, there was one thing that I saw in the report that sort of piqued my curiosity, and it says the options presented in this report may be considered individually or combined, depending on council's preferred direction. In all cases, administration recommends the applicable sport complex rental fees continue to be reviewed annually with cost of living adjustment rounded to the nearest dollar without a report being brought to council. Can you explain that to me
A bit
exactly,
like the
please?
community halls, if there's no big influx in our economy, instead of coming to council every June to figure out the prices for the next year, we'll just use the cost of living to raise our prices. So, for example, if we use the recommendation for one field non-prime, it'll be $60. We go 2%. If it's the cost of living, it'll be $64 for the next. Instead of bringing back the council prices every year, which most of the time is cost of living, except now we did a big analysis of it compared to all the surrounding areas. If we notice when we get prices from other municipalities that they are going higher or a lot lower than we are, then we'll come back with a report to council.
Okay. And what's essentially going to be the threshold for a big increase?
Yeah.
It's
I don't have
3%, 4%, 5%?
I don't have one in mind.
Yeah, like again, it's just that for us, we just want to be able to maybe just, if there is a big increase, we want to be able to justify it, right? So if we don't have a report to do that, then how do we know what to say to the residents, or how do we go
To
about
just
it?
be an information report each year.
So you'll get it, we'll get an information report as far as what the increase is and the reasons why, and then after that gets public?
It could be part of the budget process to say cost of living this year was this, as we're doing with salaries, cost of living, and the same cost of living for the halls.
Okay, so cost of livings will be applied to the halls, and then
Halls,
if it's
turf,
above,
ice
it's
times.
above that, then is that reasonable? During budget time, at least we'll be able to
Or do
to
we use
have
the 1 and
the reasons
3%?
why behind all that stuff? Because we all know, like, yeah,
The current policy for salaries is between 1% and 3%. So we could do that. And if it's above 3%, then we'd highlight it for council specifically to say, look, cost of living is 6% this year. Here's the impact on the rental rates of the turf, the halls, all that kind of stuff. And let council decide if they want to go the full amount or if they want to adjust it at that
yeah,
point in
because
time.
I think it's just a matter of making that information public. I understand Mr. Boisvenue's, like, if we just automatically do it and we don't talk about it, and then people don't know about it, and all of a sudden they get a huge increase, we may get a surprise, right? And we want to be able to, number one, justify our increases and
That's the thing, we're the ones that are
yeah, we
stuck
just,
justifying it.
yeah, and again, we want that information. We want to be equipped with the proper info so that we can then pass that off. I think it's, so as far as like a yearly report on what the rates are, I think if we just say cost of living, then we know. If there's something out of ordinary at that point, then we can have a discussion. And again, it's just to make that public, right? Because again, oftentimes we're asked questions and we're not equipped with the information this way, at least, you know. Because again, your department, Mr. Lafrance, is the one that touches people, I guess, more frequently as far as user fees and all that kind of stuff. So we want to make sure everybody's equipped with the proper information
So
at that point.
if I may, the big reason that was in is instead of waiting until August, September for prices for the next year, we would already have that at hand.
Mhm.
Instead of coming back to council, get a report ready.
No, I agree. I think it's a good logic to apply the cost of living. I think that's the way to go, but it's just, again, let's just like, make sure there's mention of it so that there's public, the people who do watch at home and that are looking at our minutes see that we did discuss it and it's not just, you know, just assumed. Any other questions or comments? Okay, so again, I'm not sure how we're going, what options we're adopting here, but what are we?
I'm sorry.
So I just want to confirm that we're all on the same page. So then it'll be, for La Piste, it'll be 7 to 3, Monday to Friday, and it's closed on weekends, correct? And then in regards to COLA, that the information be provided to council every year as to what the increases are.
Yeah, and the track is only for summer months, and then when the busy season starts, then those hours get expanded.
That's correct.
Okay, fair enough.
If there is a rental though, on a Wednesday night, for example, are people able to use the track?
If the turf is open, lights are open, we're never gonna say no to someone. It's
Okay.
been like that forever.
Yeah.
Some people show up at 10 when there's a soccer league. We're
Yeah.
not gonna say no to the walking track.
Okay.
We can't guarantee that it will be open every Wednesday at 8.
And do we have sort of a comms plan to identify that to the members of the public somehow? I'm just curious because, like, I know my kid plays soccer at 6 o'clock, right, on Wednesdays. So I see people there walking the track. I'm just curious if we're going to identify that to people.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
My recommendation is it'll be very difficult to start trying to educate the public. Oh, it's open this Wednesday. It's not open because if somebody rents a turf and decides to cancel, then from a comms perspective, we got to hop on and say, it's actually canceled tonight. I would stick with the...
So 7 to 3 walking track,
Yeah.
that's it?
And
Yeah.
then if it happens to be
Cool.
open and somebody walks in,
Yeah.
then we're good to go. But
Okay.
I wouldn't from communication standpoint, I wouldn't want to start going
Okay.
back and forth.
Yeah,
So
because
are-
it creates an expectation.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
So are we gonna communicate the 7 to 3 then?
Yeah.
By the way, the post today, for reservations, chapeau, it was very good, so.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just going to read what I wrote based on our conversations. Be resolved that any fee increases be presented during the budget process, highlighted in a yearly report, and that any over cost of living be presented in council in a report. And be it resolved that the walking track hours of operation change from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. on weekdays and closed on weekends for the summer period. I'm not sure if you wanted to add months to months.
Did we want to adjust the pricing for next season with the recommended the
Okay,
prices in option 1 as well, or are we
Ah,
just
ça
leaving
serait
the
bon.
prices
Ouais.
as is for now?
Moi, je pense que oui, là. I think the option 1, like, adopt those prices for
Okay.
sure.
In option 1?
Yep.
Okay, so the third paragraph I'm adding is be it resolved that council approve the recommended fee schedule as presented in option 1 in the report. Ça l'englobe tout.
Oui.
Okay. Proposed by?
Just for clarification, the summer months would be May 1st to September 1st, correct?
Yeah, it's September 15th is the policy. So
Okay.
whatever's in the policy, and we can adjust those as well with time. The policy changes to summer hours, we'll just follow the walking track hours at the time.
Okay, sounds good.
So are we doing 2 votes on this one then? Because there's option 1 for the fees and option 4 for the review.
It's what
This
she's
can be
gonna-
the resolution
yeah,
for
the
now, for option
resolution,
1. If
yeah.
somebody wants to amend it, we could do that whole process.
Yep.
Thank you.
So right now, it's option 1 for the fee schedule, the walking track hours, and the future process of.
I'm just wondering so does it have to be May? I feel like May is like, honestly, if you live in Limoges, you don't want to go walk outside. Like, this is the worst time for mosquitoes. Like, I feel like a lot of the residents have been mentioning that they do enjoy having the possibility to go indoor. Can we start a little bit later? Would that be a good idea, or do we?
It's how much resources we want to put into. Starting May 15th, reservations are back at a low. But if we want, we can extend, still have the walking
Do you
track
think
open
it's a
8
good
to 8 at
idea,
that
like
time.
pushing it a little bit further? June 1st, yeah. So people have that mosquito.
June 1st, September 15th?
Yeah, June 1st. So that way, I don't know, May was quite rainy, so maybe it's a good.
Okay, just out of curiosity, what financial impact does
Yeah,
that have?
what's the how much are we
What's
saving
that,
in a
like,
month?
how much are we saving in that month, or how much more is it costing?
I'd have to do the math.
Yeah, it's,
but,
we
uh,
kind of
in
sprung that
May,
on
we
you there. I
have-
wouldn't expect you to have
Sorry.
that.
In May, we have 2 nights of rentals, so it'd be 3 nights of 4 hours of salary for 2 to 3 weeks.
May 15th.
And let's go halfway, May 15th, like long weekend, and then people are outside more, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
Do you want me to reread it?
I walk faster with the mosquitoes.
C'est bon, ça.
That's why I don't
Okay,
mind going out.
Be it resolved that any fee increases be presented during a budget process highlighted in a yearly report, and that any over the cost of living be presented to council in a report. Be it resolved that the walking track hours of operation change from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. on weekdays, close on weekends from May 15th to September 15th. And be it resolved that council approve the recommended fee schedule as presented in option 1 of the report. Oui? Okay. Proposed by?
Yes.
Madame
Madame Drolet, Monsieur Boisvenu, tous d'accord? OK, donc. Maintenant, on est rendu à discussion 4 de 5 concernant l'aréna de Saint-Isidore.
Just give me a second, I'll get my new papers ready. A bit like the sport complex, the whole report presents a snapshot of operations at the arena. We already have a new change for next season. We'll be opening 2 weeks later and closing 2 weeks earlier. Already, we already made that change. If council wishes to cut back more hours than that, we'll have to discuss where we want to cut, either the parish tournament or tryouts, if ever we want to cut more than those 4 weeks. There's also a bit like the last report, option 1 recommended prices based on neighboring municipalities or cost, etc. And if council wants to adjust those fees as well, it's open to deliberation.
Yeah, I think the fee increase is something that I think it's a reality of things. We have to adopt that to offset some of our losses. So my opinion is that we do adopt the new fees for sure. And as far as the reduction of our season of opening, again, if council does want to keep going further as far as cutting back, I would say it would mean at the tail end of it. Because again, our main customers are minor hockey, junior C, and the adult leagues, and they kind of wrap up near the end, and then we kind of stay open for a lot of the spring hockey and a lot of the summer hockey, and that we subsidize private businesses at this point. So that's something that I'm not willing to do anymore because private businesses do buy up all that ice time, and after that they turn around and they either sublet it or they run their AAA tournaments out of there, and it's all good. It creates foot traffic, but again, we're subsidizing these businesses privately, and that's not what municipalities should be doing at this point. I think again, we provide spaces for our residents and for our community events and things like that, but to subsidize private businesses, I think we need to start looking at that quite heavily. So, yeah, I don't know if you can add to the
if I may,
timeline at the end there, like.
A few key changes with the new fee structure. All minor hockey with residents become under the same pricing instead of having St. Isidore minor hockey with the lower prices than the Ice Dogs or the Cobras. Everybody falls under one umbrella where 95% of our residents will play. And then we were already cutting down the hours for spring hockey. With the old schedule, we used to open second week of August and run till third or fourth week of May. With the new adjusted that schedule that we discussed earlier, we would open for minor hockey September 1st instead of, so that's already 2-3 weeks of savings. And then we would do the parish tournaments and then 2 weeks of tryouts, which is AAA, AA, and then we close. So we would close May 1st instead of closing May 3rd or 4th week of May. So we're already saving 6 to 8 weeks, which is why I mentioned if you want to cut more than that, we can either cut tryout time or parish tournaments, or we're already cutting early in the season. We have juniors too that wants to start late August already, which I'm already pushing them back a week. It is an option, but we've already made that adjustment internally.
No, I think what you've proposed is really good. And secondly, I think the public need to know the cost of operations that we're cutting back here. That's our expensive. C'est là où c'est le plus cher gérer une arena. Fait que dans les 4 ou 5, 6 semaines qu'on coupe, again, I just want to give perspective. Like how much is it an hour or even a day to keep that arena open in August versus what we collect in fees coming in?
I don't know the number by heart, but for example, if we combine the whole winter season, it's about $450 an hour to be able to run the ice.
Right.
But during the summer, it's more expensive because the compressors run 24 hours. The weather outside doesn't give a break to the compressors. We have to both compressors running all the time to make sure they stay at a lower rate. Just in January, when it's minus 30 outside,
Yeah.
we have compressors not working at all sometimes if nobody's using the ice.
Right.
So-
So I think it's reasonable to say, like a real good guesstimate, it's probably $650 an hour during those warmer months, and then we turn around and we sell that ice at $170, $180 an hour to a AAA private business owner. So that's when I say we subsidize a private business. That's exactly what I'm trying to state. And again, we're not in the business of we're in the business of providing space for our residents and for our communities. But this one here I'm having a hard time with. So I think we need to maybe cut back on that. Again, it's not a matter of trying to play favorites. It's just a matter of trying to mitigate some of our losses, and this is one I think that's an easy one that we can justify for sure. So I want to commend Mr. Lafrance for looking into it and really narrowing down that, because again, as you can see in the report, we do lose $150,000 to $200,000 a year, and the taxpayers are looking at us to see where we can cut and save money, and this is definitely one area where we can, without having a negative impact on again, our minor hockey and our junior C and our men's leagues that play there. Again, I commend him for playing with the numbers in order for us to gain those savings. So, can you read the recommendation, please?
So far, it's just that we changed the fee schedule.
Right.
Okay, so be it resolved that council approves the change to the fee schedule as presented in option 1 of this report, assuming there's no longer like hours cuttings that you'd like to do
Well,
on
again,
top of what he's done.
yeah, I think, well, what you're suggesting, again, can you just make them public? Because again, we have to make sure that everybody is aware of this, that the days that we're opening and closing, so that people can properly plan going forward. Wait,
Combien il faudrait charger le plus le printemps là, pour ceux que tu
c'est ça. Ça sera quasiment 3 fois le prix que ce qu'on charge présentement. Parce il y a une deal qui a été faite il y a longtemps que le 3A dans le coin.
Ouais.
Puis non seulement ça, moi aussi j'ai acheté cette glace-là. Coûte à peu près 175 $, c'est ça à peu près? Puis ça nous coûte pas loin de 650 gérer la glace pour cette heure-là parce que c'est pas loué à 24 heures. Fait que dans le fin fond, c'est rien que loué de 5 à 10 heures la semaine. Le restant du temps, on le garde fret pour ce temps-là, puis c'est très coûteux. Fait qu'il faudrait quasiment tripler nos coûts pour que nous autres, on casse les unes à peu près.
Il y a beaucoup de frais cachés aussi qu'on va sauver. Les compresseurs roulent moins longtemps, moins fort. On peut sauver sur l'asset replacement. On peut continuer à parler de tous les frais qu'on va sauver à faire mal à la glace plus rapidement. On était une des glaces dans la région qui était ouverte plus longtemps. 20 litres sur le jour, ouvert après nous, ferme plus tôt que nous. Donc, il y a plusieurs hidden fees qu'on ne peut pas mettre sur papier. Je ne peux pas faire le calcul sans l'expérimenter.
Ouais.
Qu'on va pouvoir aider de ce côté-là aussi.
Je pense aussi l'élément du staff. Parce qu'à ce moment-là, tu peux déménager ton staff qui travaille à Réunion, puis tu peux les mettre ailleurs, puis faire d'autres ouvrages pour avancer d'autres travails ailleurs. Fait que je pense qu'il y a certaines choses qu'on peut... ça a un impact global, pas seulement sur la Réunion, je pense que...
Juste une opinion de même. Je trouvais que le printemps, les fins de semaine, là, à partir des fois du jeudi ou vendredi, là, il y avait du monde au village, ça met de la...
Ça a un impact, c'est sûr.
Dans tout le village, là, veut dire que ce soit restaurant ou que ce soit gaz bar, ça emmène.
Faut faire attention avec ça aussi. Nous, on avait notre sports bar ouvert, mais les gens préféraient amener leur propre nourriture, faire des barbecues à l'extérieur au lieu d'aller à nos restaurants locaux et apporter leur propre chose. C'est à considérer aussi. Puis, il y a plusieurs autres arénas qui restent ouverts pour le spring, donc ils ne seront pas mal pris. La ligue va runner quand même. Ça va juste malheureusement pas être à Saint-Isidore.
Okay, pour capter cette conversation-là, so be it resolved that council approves the change to the fee schedule as presented in option 1 of this report. Be it further resolved that council supports the arena ice season start and end time as implemented by the recreation department. C'est ça. OK. Alors,
OK.
proposé par?
Mr. Stewart, M. Mainville, tous d'accord? OK. So we got
Merci.
a decision on that. Okay, we're now 5:30, almost. Let's talk about 11.1, and after that, I think we should go on break after that.
Oh, 8.4.
Oh, geez, yeah, sorry, I went too fast. Too excited.
And then we can break at 5:30.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Vous avez tous eu le rapport sur le feasibility study for the library moving into the bowling. It's a very high level at this stage. My apologies. I was hoping to have the Class D estimate much quicker. Unforeseen circumstances. I only received it last week. It gives us a general idea. As you see, it's roughly $350 plus tax. We save, and there's a lot of contingencies on there. That being said, I think that once we start diving more, the operational savings alone, instead of paying 2 separate buildings, 2 asset replacement, the sale of that building will go towards help offsetting those costs. I think it's worthwhile that we continue investigating and bring back a fuller report with those examples of cost savings. But this was based on Conseil Forg's notice of motion that came back in December, so it was just a follow-up, but I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Yeah, I think we have to look into it. I think we owe it to our taxpayers and our residents to continue looking into this because, again, there is potential, there is a potential, a huge potential saving, I think. And it's not only that, as long as the service continues to run as it is today, if it's in a different building, then again, that'll be something that we're going to get feedback now that it's public. Il va y avoir des gens qui vont nous appeler pour savoir comment ils sont. Mais cette période de consultation-là, à cette heure que c'est public, les gens vont commencer à nous appeler. Puis moi, je pense qu'on leur doit de continuer de regarder à les estimer pour voir comment ça peut marcher.
De mon côté aussi, une des inquiétudes que j'ai, one of the worries I do have is that we have a staff member working alone in a building. Whereas then we could have, there would be multiple staff in the arena as well. So from a safety perspective, I'm a little bit more comfortable with that as well. But obviously the full detailed report will present all those considerations. But
Mr. Stewart?
Well, I'm looking at the diagram of the arena or the potential. Is this just an idea, or is this something you're like the final drawing, or?
no, by no means is it the final drawing. I've spoken with the library manager. There's already tweaks that we'd like to see. We know that part of the arena project was building offices on the other side, so we might look at it globally to see how those potential two projects could be brought into one project for cost-saving purposes. No, this is just a Class D general layout to see first, was it feasible? And in discussions with the designer and the library manager, there's some tweaks to do, but definitely it is feasible to bring it there at this stage.
Thank you.
Oui.
So we have all the prices for construction and stuff like that. I'm just curious if we have an estimate on the current building for the library, what its value would be sitting at. Just
I don't have a market study for that at this point in time. That'll be sitting down with our planning team to roughly, but it's in the $200,000 to $300,000 range for sure, at a minimum. So.
Okay.
Que le Conseil reçoive le rapport AD 07-2026 concernant l'examen préliminaire de la faisabilité de la relocalisation potentielle de la bibliothèque de Saint-Isidore dans l'actuel espace du Salon de quai au Centre récréatif de Saint-Isidore et que l'administration poursuit l'étude de faisabilité prévue par la résolution 229-2025 et présente au Conseil une mise à jour comprenant les analyses restantes, notamment les économies opérationnelles, les considérations liées à la disposition de l'immeuble actuel de la bibliothèque, les possibilités de financement, les impacts de la prestation des services ainsi que les répercussions à long terme sur la gestion des actifs. Proposé par
Oui.
M. Fogg.
M. Fogg, M. Lalonde. Tous d'accord? OK.
Parfait. Alors, nous allons en pause jusqu'à 6 heures.
Parfait.
So we'll be back at 6 o'clock. Nous sommes de retour live.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. We will go to number 11. Yeah, we're going to check as far as the resolutions going. So 11.1, request for an exemption for the noise bylaw for Mario Lemieux for, Mario Lamoureux for August 8th, 2026. So everybody had a look at the request. Est-ce que c'est raisonnable? Je sais qu'il y a eu une journée auparavant il a fait une journée. Puis je veux juste savoir s'il y a eu des plaintes. Est-ce qu'il y a eu des gens qui ont dit...
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Il y a eu des plaintes avant l'événement de la même personne qui avait fait le commentaire au début. She reiterated her points and we communicated. Council had made a decision. But during the event, after the event, I haven't heard anything. There was
Okay.
no follow-up from the residents.
So I think it would be reasonable for us to approve the second date at this point, je pense.
Je vais lire
Correct.
la résolution. Qu'il soit résolu que le Conseil approuve les exemptions suivantes aux règlements municipaux pour M. Mario Lamoureux dans le cadre des événements exceptionnels qui auront lieu le 8 août 2026 de 17h à 22h à l'adresse indiquée dans le formulaire de demande. Exemption à l'article 5.17 du règlement de zonage 2-2006 et l'exemption à l'article 3A du règlement sur le bruit 65-2000. Proposé par...
M. Boisvenu, M. Lalonde, tous d'accord? OK, donc ça a été alloué.
Alors, pour les règlements, nous allons retirer le règlement numéro 109-2026 au point 12.4 de la résolution. C'est pour un road widening sur la rue Chrétien. Finalement, on n'a pas eu les informations nécessaires pour l'adopter ce soir, donc elle sera retirée de la résolution. Autre que celui-ci, est-ce qu'il y avait des questions?
Aucune de notées, donc on peut les adopter.
Alors, qu'il soit résolu que les règlements énumérés ci-dessous soient lus et adoptés en première, deuxième et troisième lecture. Le 106-2026, élargissement de chemin Monterracette. 107-2026, modification au règlement de zonage pour Willow Springs Subdivision. Le règlement 108-2026 pour le règlement de zonage, le 68 rue Andrew. Le 102-2026, contrôle de partie de l'eau pour le croissant sumac. Et le contrôle de partie de l'eau sous règlement 111-2026 pour le 244, 246, 248 et 250 croissant sumac. Proposé par?
M. Fogg, M. Mainville, tous d'accord? OK, ils sont tous adoptés.
Excellent.
Donc, on peut y aller, je pense, à 18 à ce moment-ci. On va y aller session fermée, s'il vous plaît.
Alors, qu'il soit résolu que la présente Assemblée soit ajournée à 18h03 pour une session à huis clos conformément aux sections suivantes de la loi municipale de 2001, la section 239.2, B, renseignements privés, D, relations de travail, E, litiges actuels ou éventuels, F, conseils qui sont protégés par le secret professionnel de l'avocat. Proposé par?
M. Boisvenu, M. Lalonde, tous d'accord? OK.
Parfait. Alors, je vais nous mettre en huis clos ici.
Salut, gang.
retour live.
OK. Donc, à ce moment-là, je vous...
Oui, alors, on va réouvrir l'Assemblée. Qu'il soit résolu que la présente Assemblée soit rouverte à 19h08, proposé par...
Oui.
M. Fogg, Mme Dallaire, tous d'accord? Oui.
Parfait. Alors, le Conseil a donné des directives verbales sur tous les sujets présentés en huis clos. Ensuite, c'est les annonces.
C'est ça. Est-ce que j'ai des annonces pour...
Oui, nous, on a encore, je l'avais annoncé la dernière fois, mais le 29 juin à Limoges, on a les célébrations du 125e pour l'Église qui commencent. Alors, ça va se passer là, dans le stationnement au complexe. Alors, venez en grand nombre.
D'autres choses?
Je regarde ça, là. Oui. À Saint-Albert, là, ils cherchent toujours des bénévoles là, pour le bar, mais c'est pas ça que je cherchais. Ce que je cherchais, c'était célébrer avec nous le 26 juin. Donc, il va y avoir un michoui là, le 26 juin pour célébrer là, toute la fin de la prise en charge là, du centre communautaire.
Oui. Stuart, do you have Mr. Stewart? No, it's all good?
Thank you. Pardon me? Oh, jeez, yeah. Yeah, thank you very much. I was thinking of other things. The Culture and Heritage Committee is having a plaque unveiling for the Peru Cheese Factory heritage designation in conjunction with the Ontario Heritage Trust on Friday, June 26th. There's a presentation starting at 1 o'clock, very interesting, informative in the history of cheese making in general and dairy farming and such for our area. So thanks again for reminding me of that. I'm going to be there, so hopefully we'll have a good turnout. Thank you.
Perfect.
Confirming by law.
Yes, madame?
Qu'il soit résolu que le règlement 112-26 pour confirmer les procédures du Conseil à sa réunion ordinaire du 22 juin 2026 soit lu et adopté en première, deuxième, troisième lecture, proposé par...
Monsieur Mainville, Monsieur Boisvenu, tous d'accord? OK.
Excellent. Alors, l'avis pour la prochaine réunion publique, après la pause de l'été, tombe le 31 août, donc à même heure et même lieu. Et ceci, tous les items étant découlés, la réunion est terminée à 19h.